and welcome back. Today we will do yoga session number 4 for the fasting and coaching programs, which is part of the Fasting and Wellbeing Network. Today in our session we'll do a lot of standing poses, so you'll need a mat, some space to stretch out, and you may need a block or two and have your blanket handy as well. Okay. So we're going to begin standing. So just getting yourself into a position, a standing position, maybe with the feet together, or maybe you'd like a little bit of space between the feet. And just here, just lift up the toes and spread them out, and then just place them back down on the mat. And here we want to try and feel like our feet are connected evenly to the ground. So the base of the big toe, connect that down. The base of the little toe, connecting that down on both feet, and the base or the center of the heels. So just rooting down through the feet. So this is your foundation. We want the foundation to be stable. And then just working our way up the legs. Let's lift the kneecaps so the quad muscles are engaged. You have a little engagement in the core. And then the shoulders. We just draw the shoulders back, opening out the chest. Here we might take the hands to the heart and taking your gaze downwards towards the floor. And you're just coming into this space, just feeling your body in this space, in this moment. If you have the balance and you can close the eyes, go ahead, you can do that. Otherwise, you can keep your eyes open. Just bringing your attention now to your breath as it flows through your body. Just noticing the parts of your body that are moving with the breath. And now I want you to imagine that you're inhaling all the way from the feet, from the soles of the feet, up to the crown of the head. And then you're exhaling from the crown of the head all the way down to the feet. So just having an image in your mind, maybe even thinking of a light from the base of the feet, traveling up to the top of the head as you inhale. And as you exhale, just feel that little light, white light, traveling down through the body to the feet and into the ground. Just stay with this image for a few more breaths. On your next exhale, you can release the hands down by the sides. And we'll just do a little bit of circling movements just to mobilize the joints in the body. So we'll begin with the head and the neck. You lower the chin towards the chest and just begin to move the head around in a circle, almost like imagining you're drawing a circle with your nose. And then change direction, drawing the circle the other way. Lovely, and then lifting the head back up. We'll bring the shoulders up towards the ears and then just rolling them back. As you take the shoulders back, feel the shoulder blades traveling towards each other and then down the back. So just do a couple more. Lovely, and then releasing. We'll join the hands together, interlace the fingers, palms of the hands and the heels of the hands touching, and then we just start to rotate the hands around. We're just warming up the wrist joints here. Good. And then we'll change direction, going the other way. Lovely. And then we'll release the hands down. You can take the feet a little bit wider than the hips. You place your hands on your hips here. I'm just going to start to circle the hips around. Here, actually, try to keep your shoulders where they are. So we're just going to have the movement in and around the pelvis. So a good way to do this, or to get this right, is to imagine your spine is like a spoon in a bowl, and you're just stirring the spoon around. Let's change direction. We'll go the other way. Just letting the movement come into the pelvis. Lovely. And just coming back to the center. We'll step the feet together. You can take your hands onto the tops of your thighs. You're going to bend your knees here. And we're going to just move in a little circle around with the knees. So just going clockwise to begin with. So you go into a bend in the knees and you take them around to the sides and up. And you come out a little bit out of the bend. And then we'll change direction, going the other way. I'll go this way so you can see. Lovely. And then coming back up to standing. Standing on the left leg, let's warm up the right ankle. You can place your hand on the hips or hold onto the wall if you wish. Just circling the foot around one direction, and then let's change. We go the other way. Good, and then release that foot down, and let's go the other foot. So lifting the left foot, circling around, and change direction. Lovely. Take both feet back onto the mat. Release the hands down by the sides. On an inhale, we're going to lift the arms up to shoulder height, but as you do, you're going to lift the heels up as well. Exhaling, lowering down. So we'll do this a few times. Inhale, lifting up together, arms and heels. Exhaling, lowering down. And again, inhale, lifting up. Exhaling, lowering down. This time we might lift the arms up overhead, all the way up. Lifting up and exhaling, lowering down. Now, if you like, we'll hold it at the top. So if you'd prefer to just go up and down with the breath, go with that. Otherwise, on your next inhale, lifting up, lift the arms up. Keep the heels lifted. And making sure here, when we're in this position, you're engaging your core, so your belly button drawn in towards your spine. Lovely. On your next exhale, So it's challenging for the balance. Exhaling, we lower down. Lovely. So step the feet together, and we're going to take the hands together at the heart, and then we're going to bend the knees. You're going to sit the seat back. So you're going to bend the knees a little bit more. Seat goes back. Bend the knees. Seat goes back. Keep the hands at the chest, and this is here to remind us to keep the chest lifted. We're coming into what we call chair pose. Just take a little peek down. Make sure that you can see your toes beyond your knees. If you can't see them, then the knees have gone too far. So come up a little bit more. And engage your core here. Maybe even thinking about lowering the tailbone down somewhat. We want to protect the lower back here, so keeping it long. Continue to breathe. And then on your next inhale, reaching all the way up to the ceiling, straightening the legs. Exhaling here. And now we're going to take a hold of the left wrist with the right hand. On your next exhale, leaning to your right. Coming into a little side stretch for the body. Now here in this position, maybe you'd like to turn your head to look at your left upper arm. If so, go for that. As long as there's no issues with the neck. And then take your gaze back to the center. Inhale, we'll come up to standing, switch over. So take a hold of the right wrist with the left hand and exhaling over to the other side. So keeping both feet grounded here. If you feel a little bit wobbly with the feet together, you can step them a little bit further apart. And then again, turning the head if it feels okay on the head and the neck. On your next inhale, coming up to standing, and then exhale, just release the arms down. We're going to stand now all the way onto the left leg, balancing on the left foot. Hold onto a wall if you need to. We're going to lift the right leg up and taking a hold of the right leg, squeezing it in towards you. So if this is tricky to keep the balance here, now that you're using two hands on the legs, go against the wall. You can just stand right next to the wall. So when we hug that right knee in, making sure that we're standing up tall. So we might need to bend over a little bit to grab the leg, but then see, can you straighten up the spine a little bit more? Good. And now we're going to release that right leg and you're going to take it behind you, beginning on the tippy toes. So you just rest your toes, your right toes on the floor, and then you're going to place the top of that right foot on the floor. We're just looking for a stretch for the top of that right foot and all the way into the front of the top of the right ankle. Just breathing here for a moment. And then we'll release that right foot back down beside the left. So now we'll go on the left side. So bending the left knee, taking a hold of the left leg, bringing your spine up to being nice and tall. And just balancing here for a moment. And then we're going to release the left leg down and take the left foot behind you. You can place your hands on your hips here if you like. And then placing the top of that left foot on the mat, pressing it into the mat, looking for a little stretch along the top of the left foot and perhaps into the top of the left ankle. Good. And then we'll release that left foot back to the right. So another standing pose is tree pose, balance. So another balance pose is tree pose. We're going to come into tree pose here. So we'll start again, all the weight on the left leg. You're going to bend the right leg. And we're looking to place the sole of the right foot on the inside of the left leg. So you can place it as high up as you can go. So if it means reaching down for the foot and placing it up a little bit higher on the leg, go for that. Just make sure that you don't place it on the knee joint. So it's either above or below the knee. And then we take the hands together at the heart. Now, if this is enough for you, you stay here. Some of you might like to lift the arms up overhead. Just stretching out through the arms, through the fingers. And we're looking to take that right leg out to the side a bit. So squeezing the right glutes, your right buttock will help with that. And exhaling, we will lower the hands down and then releasing the right foot. So you can give the left leg a little shake out. Sometimes when we're holding the balance on one leg, it needs a little bit of a shake out after you come out of the pose. We'll change over now. So we've got the right, all the weight on the right foot and bending the left leg, taking it out to the side as best you can. And then just placing that left foot onto the inside of the right leg, not on the knee joint. And then taking the hands together at the heart. So if you're struggling with balance here, sometimes just staring at a spot on the floor or something steady in front of you can help. If you're lifting the arms up, go ahead. If when you lift the arms up and it feels very congested around the neck and the shoulders, then take the arms apart so it's not creating stress or strain. And then just pressing the sole of the foot into the standing leg and pressing the standing leg into the sole of the foot. Lovely. And then relaxing the hands down, releasing the foot down. And one more balance pose. So again, hold on to the wall if you need to. I'm going to turn sideways here so you can see. So we're going to bend the knees and I'm going to lift the right leg and place the right ankle just above that left knee. I'm going to flex the right foot. So making sure that I have a good bend in the right ankle there. Take the hands together at the heart and then starting to bend that left leg, and I'm sinking the seat back and coming into this position here. Now, here you could hold on to the wall or the back of a chair or the countertop if you wish. So that would be nice for a little bit of support, holding on to something. Keeping the chest lifted. Good. And then on an inhale, straightening the left leg and exhaling, releasing the right foot down. And we'll change again. So we'll place the left ankle just above the right knee. Hands together at the heart. Flex the left foot and then sinking back. Again, holding on to support if you need to. And if you're not holding on to a support and you're struggling with balance, fixing your gaze on something steady. On your next inhale, straightening the right leg. Exhale, undo the hands and the left leg. Again, shaking out the legs if you need to. So feet again at hip width distance apart, or you can have them together, depending on how it feels balance wise and how open you are at the back of the legs. So just seeing, you can play around with it, seeing how you go. We're going to take the arms out to the sides on an inhale, lifting them up overhead. And on the exhale, coming into a forward fold. So you're going to lead with the chest, hinge at the hips as you fold forward. You can bend the knees here. The legs don't need to be straight. On your next inhale, take the hands to the shins, moving the chest forwards, halfway lift. Exhaling, lowering down again, forward fold. Inhale, rising up. So we take the hands out to the side as we come up, big circle overhead, and exhaling, hands back to the heart. We'll go again, inhaling, big circles with the arms overhead, exhaling, arms out to the sides, lowering down, relax the head, inhale, halfway lift, chest moving forward, exhaling, lowering down over the legs. Inhale, strong legs, strong core as you come up. Stretch out through the fingers and exhaling, hands back to the heart. And one more time, release the hands down, opening them out to the sides, overhead. Exhale, lead with the sternum as you come to your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthening through the spine. Exhaling, folding over the legs. Inhaling, coming up to standing. Take the arms with you. Good. And exhaling, hands back to the heart. Lovely. You can release the hands, take them onto the hips, and we're going to step the feet out wide. So roughly as wide as your wrists. So say, if you just take a little look down and see, are your ankles underneath your wrists? Then you can release the hands back to the hips. We're going to turn the right foot towards the short end of the mat and the left foot turned in slightly. Here we want to draw up the kneecaps on both legs. On your next inhale, take the arms up to shoulder height. On your exhale, allow the hips to shift to the left. Reach as far forwards with that right hand as you can. And then you start to take it down. Keep the chest open to the side. Take your hand down to your shin, your ankle, wherever it lands, lifting the left arm up towards the ceiling. Keep that chest, keep the heart lifted as best you can. And maybe you take your gaze up to your top hand, just see how you go with that. Just dizziness wise, if it feels dizzy when you look up, then just keep your gaze looking straight ahead. Or if there's issues in the neck, if it's tight around the shoulders or the neck. Continue to breathe here. And then if you had your head lifted, just take it back to neutral. And on your next inhale, now strongly press both feet into the floor, coming up to standing and exhaling, lowering the arms. We're going to change to the other side. So you turn your left foot towards the back of the mat, the right foot turned in slightly. Lift the kneecaps on both legs. Inhaling, arms lifting up. Exhale, Shifting the hips to the right and reach as far forwards as you can with the left hand. Then you start to lower it down. Take it to the shin or the ankle, wherever it lands, opening out the chest, lifting the right arm up towards the ceiling. Be careful not to lock out this left leg here. So maybe even a little micro bend in that left knee is just going to keep the back of the leg safe. So another 2 full breaths here. Now take your gaze back to neutral. On an inhale, press strongly into the floor. Lift yourself up to standing, and exhaling, lowering the hands down. We'll switch to the other side again. So it's the right foot forward, the left foot turned in slightly. And here we just want to make sure our right heel is lined up with the instep of the left foot. So the arch of the left foot. On an inhale, lifting the arms again to shoulder height. Exhale, bend your right leg. Here we want to make sure our right knee stays stacked above the right ankle. So we don't want this kind of look that's too much pressure for the knee joint. So just be aware of that. Take a little check now just to make sure that that's happening. It can be behind the knee or on top, but not ahead of it. On your next exhale, you're going to lower your forearm to the top of that right thigh and lift the left arm up towards the ceiling, or you can reach it out along by your left ear. And with this position here, look to open the chest again. So maybe even using that connection between the forearm and the thigh to help you lift the chest towards the ceiling. On your next inhale, we lift the left arm, press the feet into the floor, coming up to standing. Exhale, lower the arms down just for a little break. And we'll travel to the other side. So left foot forward, right foot turned in, line up the heel with the arch. On an inhale, lifting the arms. Exhale, bending the left leg. So the left knee stacked above the left ankle. On your next exhale, take your left forearm to the top of that left thigh. And we lift the right arm up towards the ceiling, or if it feels okay, the upper right arm traveling along the side of that right ear. And then opening out the chest, up towards the ceiling perhaps. On your next inhale, lifting back up to standing, straightening that left leg, and exhaling, lowering the hands down. So we'll bring both feet a little bit closer towards each other, and you're going to turn them outwards from the legs. I'm going to take the hands together at the heart, and we're going to try and keep our shoulders above our hips. But we're going to begin to bend the knees, so coming down into a wide-legged squat. We want the knees going out the same direction that the feet are going in. And then just seeing here, can you keep your shoulders directly above the hips? So be careful not to overarch in the lower back. An engagement in the core here, perhaps a gentle drawing down of the tailbone down towards the floor. Keeping the chest lifted. Good. And then maybe here you'd like to lift the heel on the right foot, lower it down, the heel on the left foot, lowering it down. One more breath here. On an inhale, pressing the legs to straight, and exhaling, releasing the hands. We can take them onto the hips now. And here we're going to turn the feet forward. So the toes are pointing forwards towards the side of the mat. We have the outside edges of the feet. They're going to be parallel to the short end of the mat. The hands are on the hips. Let's draw the shoulders back, draw the elbows back, opening out the chest. On your next inhale, perhaps looking up. And on the exhale, we're going to fold forwards. So you lead with your chest, and we're going to come into a wide-legged forward fold. So once you get to a stage where you'd like to support yourself with your hands, you release the hands down. The knees can be bent here. If you have two blocks or two books that are the same height, sometimes people like to put these under the hands and resting in this position here. So if you have those props handy, you can use them. If your hands are on the floor and you're feeling okay in the back of the legs and the spine is nice and long, nice and straight, then perhaps you'd like to fold a little bit more. So you can start to walk the hands back, maybe just as far as that space between the feet, keeping the fingertips in line with the toe tips. And then see, can you have your elbows the same width as the shoulders? Keeping the core strong here. And one more breath. And then begin to walk the hands forwards again, taking them to that space between the shoulders. If you were staying here with the hands beneath the shoulders, all together now, we're going to draw the belly button, making sure that it's back towards the spine. Then we're going to take one hand onto the hip and then the second hand. And you can bend your knees now here if you need to. On your next inhale, lifting back up to standing. And then just starting to heel toe your feet back in towards each other. And let's just pause here for a moment. So just coming back to the body, just checking in with the body. A breath or two more. Good. So now we're going to turn towards the top of your mat again. And let's take the right foot forwards and you're going to step the left foot back. So the right foot is pointing straight ahead and the left foot is turned out a little bit to the side, sorry. And let's say our hip points, which are the bony points in our hips, let's have them both pointing forward. So your feet there can be a distance between your feet, like they're on two sides of a railway track. Okay. You can take your hands onto your hips, or you could take your hands behind here and just holding onto the forearms or onto the elbows. So going with whatever option suits you and your body. On your next inhale, we open out the chest. And on the exhale, with a nice long spine, we're going to start to fold over that front leg. So we're hinging again at the hips, Keep leading with the chest. And we're just coming to where the torso comes parallel to the floor. And we're going to rest or stay here for a few breaths. Keep drawing the shoulders back. Keeping the chest open. You can have a little micro bend in that front leg there if it's very strong on the back of the right leg. And just feel both feet connecting down into the floor. On your next inhale, pressing strongly into the floor with the feet. Core is engaged. We come up to standing. Good. Release the hands, and then we're going to step the left foot forward and take the right foot back behind. So the left foot is pointing straight ahead. The right toes are a little bit out to the sides. Check both hip points. The bony parts there at the hips are pointing straight ahead towards the top of the mat. Again, take the arms behind. So holding onto the forearms or the elbows. Opening out the chest, inhaling here. On the exhale, lead with the sternum as you fold down. And just bringing your torso to where it's parallel to the floor. And breathing here, full breaths. On your next inhale, carefully coming back up. And exhaling, releasing the arms. We step the right foot forward. And we're going to take both feet together. On an inhale, we lift the arms up overhead. And then on the exhale, you're going to bend your knees and come into chair pose like we were earlier. Take the hands back to the heart. We're going to fold a little bit more over the legs. And we're going to twist our torso to the left. And see, can you take your right elbow to the outside of that left knee? And see, can you lift your belly a little bit away from the thighs? Creating space there. In this position, make sure that one knee hasn't shot ahead of the other. Try to keep them in the same line. On your next exhale, undo the twist. Fingertips to the floor. Inhaling, coming up to standing. And exhaling, bending the legs. Taking the hands to the heart. Inhale here. And then exhale, we're going to twist the other way. So you're taking your torso to the right, left elbow to the outside of that right knee. And then keeping the knees in line as best you can. Tummy away from the thighs. And then exhale, undo the twist, fingertips to the floor. Inhale, all the way up to standing. And exhaling, taking the hands back to the heart. So we might come into a little stretch for the quad muscles here after all this work on the legs. So again, hold on to a wall if you need to, and you're just going to bend the right leg and reaching back for that right ankle. And we just draw the right ankle in towards the right buttock and just staying here for a moment. Staying with the breath. And then we release that right foot down and we'll switch over. So we bend the left knee, lift the left foot up and just taking a hold of it at the ankle. Again, for your balance, maybe taking your gaze to a spot on the floor or something ahead of you on the wall. And then releasing that left foot down. Just connecting to the body here for a moment. Just take 3 breaths. Feeling the feet connected down to the floor. And then we'll make our way down onto the mat. So we'll begin on all fours. We'll have our hands beneath our shoulders. And you're just going to curl your toes under and just sitting the sit bones back towards the heels. Maybe you walk your hands back also. And just coming to a little stretch for the feet. So the toes are curled under. And then we'll release the hands back down. And we allow the feet to flatten out. So hands beneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. And on your next inhale, we're going to allow the tummy to lower down towards the floor. Move the chest forwards. And you look forwards. And on the exhale, just rounding the spine and bringing the head down, chin tucks in. Inhaling, so lifting the tailbone, moving the chest forwards. Exhaling, rounding the back. And we go again a few more times. So this is cat-cow. This part here with the inhale is the cow. And then as we exhale, we're moving into cat. So just flowing with the rhythm of your own breath. And after this round, you just inhale back to neutral. So we're going to bring ourselves to sitting on the mat. And here, perhaps you'd use the blanket. You might want to sit on a blanket so that you can sit up tall. And then sometimes with it, so we're going to have the legs outstretched. So sometimes people like to have something placed under their knees when they stretch out the legs. It just takes a little pressure off the backs of the legs. So coming into what we call Dandasana. You take your hands to the sides, out at the sides of the hips, pressing the hands into the floor. Move the chest forwards. Flex the feet here and press the backs of the legs into the floor. Try to keep the chest lifted, spine nice and long. And we'll take one more breath here. Now, this is the part where, again, maybe you didn't have the blanket underneath, but now we're coming into a forward fold from here. So maybe this might be a place to place the blanket underneath. On an inhale, we lift the arms up overhead. And on the exhale, we try to lead with the chest. And then we're hinging at the hips, so not at the back. So seeing, can we come forwards a little bit more? So holding onto the legs, at the lower legs. Maybe you can reach the feet. If you can, go for it. Inhale again here, lengthen through the spine. So chest moving up and exhaling, maybe a little bit more of a forward fold. Trying to keep the spine nice and long as we come into the forward fold here. There's no problem having the knees bent. Good. On your next inhale, making your way back up to sitting. And then you can just move your blanket out to the side for a moment. And we're going to stay on the floor, bending your knees and just making sure your sit bones, you can feel your sit bones connected to the floor. So these are the bones in your bum, just making sure you can feel them connected there. Take your hands behind your knees. You're going to lift the chest here. So bringing the sternum forwards, but we're going to lean back just ever so slightly. Now, if this is enough for you on the core, you stay here. Belly button drawn in towards the spine. Maybe you'd like to lift the legs up off the ground, keeping the lower legs parallel to the floor. Keep lifting the chest. Maybe you'd like to let go of the hands. Now keep squeezing the core, keep lifting the chest. Try not to go back so far that you lose the connection between the sit bones and the floor. And on the exhale, lowering everything down. You can just keep your feet on the floor here and just hugging your knees in towards your chest. Now we're going to straighten out the left leg. Again, if you were sitting or if you like to use the blanket to sit up on, go ahead and put the blanket beneath you again. And we straighten out the left leg. The right leg is bent. And we're going to take that right foot. It can stay here on the inside of the left leg or cross over. Flex the left foot. So the left toes are going up towards the ceiling. We're going to take the right hand behind, and on an inhale, we sit up tall. And on the exhale, you're going to twist your torso to the right. And just staying here for a few breaths. Maybe taking your gaze out along that right shoulder. On your next inhale, looking forwards, exhaling, undo the twist, and we'll go the other way. So the right leg is outstretched, left leg is bent, left foot on the inside, or cross it over to the outside of the right leg, right foot flexed. Taking the left hand behind. Inhale, we'll lengthen up through the crown of the head. Exhaling, twisting to your left. Hugging that left knee in or taking your right elbow to the outside of the left knee. On your next inhale, coming back with the gaze, and then exhale, undo your twist. And now here, we're going to just take the legs. You're going to walk, bend the knees, take them out to the sides, and then just walking the soles of the feet in towards each other. And just drawing the heels in as close as is comfortable and as close as allows you to sit up tall. So you can take a hold of the feet at the toes if you wish. Maybe that'll help you lift your chest and lift you up to a straight position with the back. And just resting here for a few breaths in this pose. And then we'll release the hold on the feet And you're going to come to lying down on the back. So you can remove the blanket out of the way and keep the soles of the feet together. Okay, so the knees are falling out to the sides and then just making your way down onto your back, lowering the whole way down. And just making sure here the body is comfortable. So you can draw your feet in towards you a little bit more if it's okay, if it feels all right. Now, if this is too much on the groin and around the hips and there's any pulling on the knees, then either support them with maybe blocks or blankets underneath, or if it's still too much, then just coming out of the pose completely. You can rest your hands on your tummy here. And you next inhale, you take your hands down to the outside of the legs and bring them back in towards each other. And remove any props that you were using. And we're going to bend both knees and cross the right leg over the left. You're drawing those knees in towards you. You can lift your head here, perhaps, and take a hold of the legs, maybe at the shins, at the ankles, or the feet. Flex both feet. Relax the head back down. If you need a pillow under the head in this position, don't be afraid to place it under the head. And then just drawing the knees back in towards you. And breathing through the pose. Just allowing a sense of letting go with each exhale. And then we'll release the legs, just allow the left foot to reach down, then the right. And we'll cross over the left now. Lift the head and the shoulders up off the mat. Lift the knees in towards the chest and taking a hold of the legs where you can. Flex both feet. Lower the head back down. Draw the knees in. And breathing here. And then we'll release the hold on the legs. Let the right foot come down. Let the left foot come down. One last hug of the knees in towards the chest. A little gentle rock from side to side. And then we lower the feet down. You're going to turn onto your side and press your hands into the floor and come up to a seated position. So a position that is comfortable for you. So if it's sitting back on the heels or one shin crossed in front of the other, or perhaps one heel crossed in front of the other. And we just want to sit up tall. And we're going to practice now what we call Nadi Shodhana, or alternate nostril breathing. And this breathing practice is wonderful for balancing both sides of the brain and the energy channels in the body. So you're going to lift your right hand up. Now, if you're left-handed, you can do it with your left hand, but I'll go with my right hand here for the moment. So left hand rested on the leg, and I'm going to fold down my index finger and my middle finger down towards the palm of the hand. So my ring finger, little finger, and thumb are free. I'm going to take the thumb to my right nostril and my ring finger to my left nostril. Now I'm not pressing down or anything yet. I'm just taking it just to where the nostril starts to flare out a little. And I'll go through a round or two, and then you can start to begin to practice it. So to begin, you breathe in, you inhale through both nostrils. And then you close off the right nostril and you exhale through the left. Then you inhale through the left nostril. I close off the left nostril and then I exhale through the right. That's one round. Now I breathe in through the right nostril. Close off the right nostril. Exhale through the left. Breathe in through the left nostril. Close off the left nostril. Breathe out through the right. So that's 2 rounds. So we'll continue now like this for the next few moments. So whatever nostril you breathe in through, you're going to exhale through the opposite nostril, and then you'll breathe in through that opposite nostril and then breathe out again. And off we go. At the end of this next round, you can lower the hand down and continue to breathe normally. We'll take the hands together at the heart. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed the classes and got some benefit out of the yoga practices. Namaste.